a warm welcome to all of you from everywhere else, people who have chosen to join today's knowledge exchange. We know your time is precious, we know your time is limited, which is why we are super excited for you to be here, and we are hopeful that you are as excited as we are to share what you know, explore more, and leave everyone better informed about how we can tackle the climate emergency together. So let's get underway. And there's one person on standby to get us going with an official welcome from the British Council. So I would like to welcome Mark Stevens, who is the Global Director of Cultural Engagement with the British Council. And Mark, if you're here with us in the studio, first of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We can see over here. And maybe...
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you. And Mark, I mean, we're going to talk about this event is called an exchange. And, you know, it's also about, you know, the cultural relations approach to climate change. So I was wondering if you could perhaps tell us a little more about that and what it means for the British Council.
I'll be delighted to. Thank you so much, and thanks for such a terrific warm welcome to me and all the other panelists. And welcome everyone to the British Council, if you're there physically or virtually around the world. So let me just say a few words. So welcome, as I say, and thanks very much for joining us today. Looking after our planet, as we all know, is a global issue that affects all of us. But it's also a health issue, it's a human rights issue. It includes issues of gender and racial equality. It also touches on development, on displacement, but also peace and security. And of course, it's for us at the British Council, it is also a cultural relations issue. The world urgently needs understanding and empathy, creativity and collaboration, and innovation and imagination. And of course, here at the British Council, our core mission is to build people-to-people connections and support understanding, which contributes to a better future for all of us. And while we're by no means climate change specialists, we recognise that climate security is probably the greatest challenge of our time, affecting every nation, every society, and every individual around the world. As an organisation that works in more than 100 countries and reaches almost 800 million people a year, a large proportion of them young, we are well placed to, and in fact we feel we have a responsibility to do all that we can to help young people address the climate emergency. Now, we've been doing this for the last 2 years through our Climate Connection programme and campaign, but before that also for many decades through a range of different arts, education and English language initiatives. We connect artists, teachers, scientists and policymakers and young people, community leaders and influencers. But of course, we couldn't achieve anything without our partners and without leveraging our networks with governments, with policymakers, with cultural and also education practitioners. So we hope that we use our unique ability as a global organisation to convene and to connect across borders, across sectors and also disciplines. And this has helped to shine a light on the role of the English language, but also educational and cultural policy on climate debates. It has also helped to raise awareness of COP26 and the critical role being played by the UK. And as you say, we'll hear at today's events, one of our particular areas of focus is working with young people around the world, supporting them to gain the skills, the experience and the connections that they need to make a positive change at local, at national and also at international level. I'm really pleased that our programme has reached and engaged with more than 233 million people worldwide in 178 countries and with more than 7,500 partner organisations and schools. This includes organisations such as Ministries of Education, of Science and Culture, schools, universities, research networks, cultural organisations, youth networks and NGOs. And today's event, as you say, is bringing together some of these partners and participants to showcase projects which are making a real difference, to share research insights and help turn knowledge and ideas into action. We're going to hear from a really diverse set of voices, from those running and participating in projects, those affected by them, and those whose plan it is to do much more. We'll look back on what we've achieved together over the past 18 months, but this is also very much about looking forward to the future. What do we know now as a result of our many and varied climate connection projects and partnerships? What works and where do we go from here? So I hope for the next 3.25 hours, there's an opportunity to exchange around these questions and collectively to shape our future work and impact. we want to demonstrate the distinct contribution that cultural relations is already making to the COP26 legacy. We also want to maximise our potential to build on that legacy and contribute to the agenda for COP26 in Cairo and beyond. Today, therefore, is going to focus on action-oriented dialogue and policy engagement around climate action priorities from our work. And our aim is to empower young people around the world. We're really looking forward to hearing your reactions and reflections on what we're going to cover. And this is as much about us listening to you and about us all listening to each other as it is about us sharing our own work. We've achieved a lot, but there's always more to learn. And of course, there's always more to do. And that's why opportunities like this are really so valuable. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'm now going to hand you back to Hajar and Mono in the studio.
Thank you so much, Mark, for those beautiful words, and I'm sure that the words you just spoke will resonate with a lot of people. You really emphasized the importance of having this dialogue, and especially of including everyone in it. It's super widespread, and especially young people have a big role to play.